Hi guys. This evening I'm going to do a practice that is about our ability to change. It's about flexibility. These are things that we really need at the moment as everything around us is shifting. The work is based around Svadhisthana, so the second chakra, which is about creativity, fluidity, flexibility, our ability to go with the flow, with changes, without being rigid or feeling resistant or feeling stuck. So I think at the moment this is really relevant while we're having to find new ways of communicating, of doing our work, of being in the world. You know, everything's different for us at the moment and it can feel quite hard. So Svadhisthana chakra is where we're going to work. We've already worked with the first chakra, which is the most important, primary thing, is grounding and rooting and stabilizing. So we've covered that already, and if you haven't done that, maybe go back and do that first, because this kind of follows on from that. And this is the light practice for Svadhisthana. So again, it's maybe nice to do this one first, and then I'll do a stronger one probably tomorrow. So we're going to start this practice supine. Lay down. And we're just going to connect firstly to the qualities that we cultivated in the first grounding and stability practice, the Muladhara chakra practice. So just feeling and connecting to the release as you exhale, allowing your body to drop. Maybe sighing away the breath. And letting go of the tension, the things that are uprooting you at the moment. So your worry, your thoughts. So feeling that you release into the ground, that you drop a little bit each time you exhale, that you soften, that you give away some of your stresses. And you know, you can take as long as you need to. You can pause me if you need to, and just be here for a few minutes, arriving and settling if you need to. And then we'll just begin some movement. Just rocking the legs side to side, just small movement to start with. So you feel the shift of weight across the sacrum. This chakra, it's often called the sacral chakra. It's in this sort of lower belly area. Governs the hips, the pelvis, the fluid systems of your body. And often, if we're out of balance here, it shows itself, it reflects as a lack of mobility, stuckness around the hips and the pelvis. So we focus the work here around hips and pelvis. So there's just this gentle movement. Now, the element for Svadhisthana chakra is water. And if you think about the properties of water, you know, it's fluid, it's able to change its direction, move around the obstacles, you know, under, over. So we're looking to make that connection to water element. So here, feel as if you're being kind of washed side to side, as if you're just kind of caught just in the current, little waves just washing you ever so slightly side to side. Now try and let the head move a little bit in unison with your legs. So as your legs tip to the right, you just let your head drop right, come back through the center, legs over to the left, and your head just falls a little bit to the left. So you feel the movement in the bones and across the back of your pelvis, but feel deeper than that the fluid body, the organ body shifting a little bit as you move side to side. So as freely, as smoothly as you can. And then gradually smaller movements bring you back to the center. It's reducing and reducing and reducing. And then see how you feel here. Take a breath. Feeling that you release some of the limitation each time you exhale. And we'll bring the soles of our feet together and drop the knees out to the side. So the posture is Supta Baddha Konasana. So hip opening posture, opening the front of your pelvis. And we'll bring some small movement here as well. So just start maybe by lifting and lowering the knees once or twice. So you're just going to bring the knees part way up and then let the legs release down again. And just feel that the inner leg lines release and lengthen a little bit as you do that. So again, slowly up. And then slowly down as you exhale. And maybe once more. And slowly down as you exhale. And then move a little side to side. Now, we want to find the easiest way of creating movement here. So in this case, as you drop your right leg, you need to lift your left a little bit. And you press with the feet just enough to mobilize from side to side. And again, you're looking for this really smooth, fluid movement. A little bit again as if you're just being washed from side to side on the tide or the current. So small shifts, just soothing out the tension and limitations and the tightness around your hips and your pelvis. Again, it's really nice if we can connect head to pelvis and let the head move in unison with the pelvis. And then again, smaller and smaller movements until you find your way back to the center. And just softening down into the posture for another breath or two. Notice if you feel that you've teased out a little bit of the tension around the hips, maybe through the inner leg lines. Long exhale. And then bring the knees back in towards each other and place the soles of your feet on the floor. And you'll maybe feel some residue from that posture in your inner leg lines. So you just allow those sensations to settle. And then we think about coming into Setu Bandhasana, but very, very slowly. We want to feel again that the movement, the transition is very fluid. We begin with a posterior pelvic tilt, which means you're curling your tail up towards the ceiling. Your lower back will lengthen and move down into the floor as your tail curls up. Our tendency, our first response to being asked to curl the tail up is to press into the feet. Try not to do that too much. Rest your feet into the floor, but don't push down into them. Try and find the deeper muscles to move your pelvis. So pelvic floor, lower abdominals, just curling the tail up. And you should feel a connection here to the root, to the pelvic floor, or Mula Bandha, as you tilt your pelvis. And then you press into your feet, so you send the pressure down, and the energy starts to rebound. Now, I want you to follow your tail, so you peel your sacrum up away from the floor. And then your lower back, and then your middle back. And you can come all the way up and towards your upper back if it feels okay, but we don't want to create stress or strain, so you're just meeting your own edge. And then you're coming down from the upper back. So again, fluidly, it's like a ripple, a wave through the spine. So you drop your breastbone, you release your upper back, and then your middle back, your ribs, your lower back, and then lastly your sacrum. You feel the sacrum sink into the floor. And then you just initiate that sequence again. So posterior pelvic tilt, the tail curls up. It's nice and slow. You lift your sacrum, follow your tail, ripple through the spine, lower back, middle back, upper back, You meet your edge, and then slowly down, upper back, middle back. Feel that you move one vertebra of your spine at a time, lower back, sacrum. You drop into the floor. We're going to do that one more time. So you start with the pelvic tilt, tail curls up, lower back lengthens into the floor, and then you start to press into the feet, the energy rebounds, you follow your tail, so the sacrum lifts, the lower back, middle back, upper back, you lift your heart, and maybe this time we'll just hold it for a breath or two, so you're opening the front of your pelvis, the fronts of your hips, your hip flexors, fronts of your thighs, creating some space. You breathe into the belly. When you're ready, you lower down, very, very slowly again, dropping the breastbone, the upper back. Try not to fragment the movement, but allow it to be very fluid as you come down. And release into the ground, feel the weight of the pelvis. So you just come back to those first chakra qualities of feeling held and supported by the ground, feeling safe and secure. Releasing your tension. Good. And enjoying those sensations for a moment or two. And then bringing the knees in towards you when you feel ready. So just coming into Apanasana, hugging in towards your center. And then again, bringing movement. So you can squeeze and release the legs once or twice, just tease tension out of your lower back. You could cradle rock here, so this is side to side. Just massaging left and right sides of your spine. With this kind of practice, with this Svadhisthana practice, there's not really a right or wrong with regard to the movements that you're making. It wants to be a little bit creative. We want to explore new possibilities, new ways maybe of feeling in a posture. It's really possible that we can become quite stuck in the yoga practice as well. So in other words, maybe sometimes we do the postures the same way. We expect to feel the same thing. We want to try and move away from that and explore different possibilities, look to feel something new in the practice. Circle your knees so you stir into your hips and your pelvis. Now you can circle in any way that feels good. Maybe close your eyes. So you can circle both knees together, clockwise, and then maybe anti-clockwise as well, as if you're just massaging your lower back, stirring into your hips. And again, try and refine the movement so that it's slow and smooth so that it's not fragmented or choppy. Good. Alternatively, you can circle the knees away from each other and around. And the circles can be as small or as big as you like. So again, you're just exploring ways of mobilizing your hips, of feeling into your hips and pelvis. Maybe change the direction. Good. And then just hugging in again. You can roll over onto one side and come up from there, or you can roll up. We try and come up as smoothly as we can. And we're going to bring ourselves to sitting. Notice how you feel in your hips as you come to sit. For today, if it's possible, try and come to sit without using a block. So you do the best that you can to align your pelvis. Bring your fingertips to the floor alongside your hips, and just take a breath here. And again, just connect to your grounding, your stability. So as you exhale, you send the energy down into the roots. You let the roots deepen. And we're going to find this nice graceful movement here. So inhaling, we bring the arms up and we reach up and the hands touch just above the head. And as we exhale, we bring the hands down and in towards the centre. Now here, if you can, just let the pelvis roll back a little, so into a posterior tilt, let the spine flex a little bit and draw the hands in towards your centre. And then inhale and press the hands forward and up. So you lengthen both sides of your waist and then exhale and come slowly down. Release your fingertips back to the floor, bring the energy back down and towards the earth. And then inhale again and flow all the way up on the breath. And exhale in, and spinal flexion. Bring the chin in. Inhale, interlace the hands, come forward and up. Both sides of the waist long, and exhale, widen down. Let's do that again. Inhale up. And exhale and draw in. Inhale, forward and up. And exhale, widen down. And twice more. Last time. Nice and elegant. And this time just bring the palms together and in and towards your center. And you can set an intention here. You can offer your intention to Any aspect of life where you're feeling stuck at the moment, you can offer up your intention for change. And you can connect your intention in your head and also in your heart. From here, transition over and onto your hands and knees so you come into a tabletop pose. And take a moment again and think about everything that we spoke about when we were working on stability and grounding. So again, spreading through your fingers and connecting to your foundation, connecting into your toe roots, finding your alignment, your breath, feeling the support of the exhale here, the way the abdomen just firms in towards the center as you exhale. And then glide the hips a little bit side to side. And you just feel into your outer hip. Again, there's no right or wrong way of moving here. Just feeling into your hips. And then circling your pelvis. And the circles can be small, or they can be bigger. You can be more creative. You can close your eyes and feel into your hips and your pelvis again. Feel the way you're able to move the energy here around your hips. Change the direction. We feel as if we're rinsing away the limitations here, the tension, anywhere that the energy is a little blocked. Change direction again. And maybe again back the other way. Good. And then come back to the center, maybe rock the hips a little bit, see how that's feeling. And then sit back into child's pose. So you might want to rock as you come back. Just be a little bit mindful that it doesn't hurt your knees to rock this way. Kind of wiggle into it, nestle your ribs down into your thighs, rest your head on the floor, and check in with your breathing. So the breath is nice and fluid, graceful. You breathe into your back. And again, as you exhale, you connect to your foundation, the release, the let go. All of those things that we need to establish before we can really build on the first chakra. You know, we need that stability, grounding, and then we can start to think about change and creativity and flexibility. When you're ready, come up again and onto your hands and knees. And then begin with pelvic tilt here. So it's not a full cat-cow, it's not a full Madhyasana. I just want you to start by creating little posterior pelvic tilt, so the tail tucks. So really small, subtle movement. And then an anterior pelvic tilt, so the sit bones lift. And see if you can just free your pelvis, find your tail by rocking a little to and fro with the pelvis. And notice the sensations that accompany the posterior tilt, a little bit of tightening at the root and in your lower belly, releasing as you anterior tilt. And then let it flow all the way through the spine. So you draw the tail under, pelvis tilts, lower back opens, middle back opens, upper back opens, the head bows down. So whole spinal flexion, and then slowly the other way. Don't limit yourself to any particular breathing pattern here. You don't have to move one way on the inhale and the other way on the exhale, but take your time, really explore each shape that your body is taking. Try and move again without any fragmenting. Just really nice, smooth ripples all the way through, from your tail to the crown of your head. Again. You can stay in one shape or the other for a breath or two. Remind yourself there's no hurry. You might want to rock your hips a little bit as you extend your spine. Make sure you're not holding too much tension in your neck. Close your eyes. Quite often with our eyes closed, it's a little easier for us to move the attention, the awareness into the body space. It's easier for us to internalize when the eyes are closed. And when it feels like enough, you can sit back towards child's pose again, but this time take your knees wider. So as wide as your yoga mat, maybe a little bit wider, and bring yourself down into wide child's pose. You can rock again the hips if you can open a little more space through your inner leg lines. If you come part way into this, you can always put a block or your blanket or your hands underneath your head if your head doesn't quite come to the floor. If you come deeply into this so that your chest is pretty much on the floor, then maybe you'll be more comfortable with your head turning off to one side. You'll take a couple of breaths to one way. And then just balance the neck out and take a couple of breaths to the other way. And again. Good. And then in your own time, bring yourself slowly back up and onto your hands and knees. You might want to just lift your knees in. Find the foundation again. Spread out your hands. We're thinking about coming into downward facing dog. We want the transition to be nice and smooth into dog. So there's no wave of determination as we initiate the transition into dog. We just want to float our way up, nice and fluid. Downward dog. And then here in your dog, any movement is good. So explore the posture, maybe pedal the feet, shift the weight a little bit side to side. See if you can bring movement into the hips. So you maybe drop one hip and then the other. Close your eyes again so that you come into your body space and move in any way that feels good. So you take maybe another couple of breaths in your downward dog, just moving the energy through your legs, into your hips, into your pelvis. When it feels like enough, you can lower yourself down from dog, lower the knees to the floor slowly and smoothly. And then you can bring yourself all the way over, and we're going to come back onto our backs again. So we're coming back into semi-supine. Maybe a bit of padding for the head. All the way down. And again, just see how you feel. You sigh away any limitations. And then bring your right leg into reclined pigeon pose. So your right ankle on your left knee, you open your right hip here. You might want to rock a little bit here. Just see how that feels. Shift the weight across your sacrum. Remember, this practice is about movement. Bring the legs in towards you if it feels okay. And you can take hold of the back of the left leg. And again, just shift a little bit side to side. Try and make the movements, rather than being small and jerky, try and make them very smooth. And again, it's that feeling that you're just being kind of washed by the waves a little bit side to side. Try and let the head connect to the pelvis. Side to side. Notice how the sensations change as you shift your weight over to the left. Feel that there in your outer right hip. Over to the right, how does that feel? And then maybe circle. Just drawing a small circle with your left knee and feeling that movement all the way into your right hip. Just stirring. And then changing the direction. Again, you might like to close your eyes. You feel into your body. The more we can sink our awareness into our body space, the more able we are to let go of our external distractions, and the more at peace and ease we're likely to feel. So just take another breath here. Good. You can place your left foot down for a moment and just let the right leg slide over your left. You might want to rock a little bit here again. See how that feels. Just shifting the weight over the sacrum. And then again, bring their legs in towards you. And this time we'll take hold of the left leg. It can be the back of your left thigh or the front of your left shin. Your left hand is best to come underneath your right calf. You drop down both shoulders. And again, just let it shift a little bit side to side. Try and let the neck relax. You can draw circles again with the legs, as if you're just massaging into your hips. Go both ways. And then again, just hug in for a moment and take a breath all the way down towards your pelvic space. Again, imagine that with your breath you can flush away the limitation. Good. And then release down and just notice how that feels before you do the other side. And then you can bring your left leg into reclined pigeon pose. A little bit of dorsiflexion in your left foot is a good thing. It helps to stabilize your knee. You might again want to rock just a little bit here. And you can always stay here with your right foot on the floor. You can bring the legs in towards you if it feels okay. Hold the back of your right thigh. Shift the weight a little bit and notice how the sensations change. And it doesn't have to be a big shift, just a small shift to one side of your pelvis or the other. Can really change the sensations that you're feeling in your hips. So close your eyes and explore the movements around your hips and pelvis. You can circle with your legs. Feel that you stir hips and pelvis again, changing the direction, making the movements as fluid and as graceful as you can. The intention is that we connect to these feelings of fluidity, of ease in the practice, and then we take that flexibility, that fluidity off the mat and into our everyday actions and attitudes. Maybe take another breath here. Feeling it release all the way down deep into your hips. And then you can place your right foot on the floor and let the left leg slide over the right. You might want to rock a little here. Really connecting to the sacrum. Lovely flat triangular shaped bone at the base of your spine and the back of your pelvis. You bring your legs in. You can hold the back of your right leg or the front of your right shin. Remember, you're coming underneath your left calf with your right hand, your right wrist. You draw the legs in towards you. Feel the opening in your outer left hip, and then shift the weight a little bit. Notice how it changes with that shift. As you come over to the right, maybe you feel more intensity in your outer left hip. just circling, and it can be as small or as large as you like, and it doesn't have to be perfect. You know, as we experiment with new ideas, when we try and make changes, it often isn't perfect to begin with. It's only through those experiments that we can find what feels really good, what feels perfect. So you take deep breath all the way down towards the pelvis again. And then you can release both feet to the floor. And then here, take a moment and notice how you feel. Notice the sensation, the way the energy is maybe moving around your legs, your upper thighs, your hips, your pelvis, your lower back. You might want to hug your knees in again. Just one more time, a hug in, both legs together, little squeeze. Maybe a cradle rock or a squeeze and release. Notice if you feel a bit more mobile in your hips, if some of the limitation, some of the restriction is gone. And then when you feel ready, you can bring yourself down into a relaxation, and I'll maybe give you a few variations here, a few options here. Semi-supine is fine. Okay, with the soles of your feet on the floor and your knees bent, this is fine. This is easy, constructive rest. You can put your legs all the way down for Shavasana. You might want to just loosen the legs a little bit, shake them out if you're coming into this version. If you'd like a hip opening version, you can maybe take a Supta Sukhasana across the ankles, let the knees drop out to the side, and if you feel that you want to be in this, or maybe a Baddha Konasana for your relaxation, you might want to use blocks to give you a little bit of support. Okay, so Sukhasana's with the ankles crossed, and Baddha Konasana, we looked at this posture earlier, but without support. You can maybe just tuck in cushions or blocks underneath your hips, underneath your ankles. You want to look for even support on either side. So these postures, these hip opening postures, don't do these without support for your relaxation. Okay, you still need to feel that you can let go into the ground or into whatever is supporting you. You relax your arms down. You might want to cover yourselves over if you have a blanket or a sarong. If you're feeling cold, you can just take that over your body. And we just take a few breaths here. Notice the way that the breathing is. We want to feel as graceful here and fluid with the breath. And you're going to stay here for a few minutes, just releasing deficiency at the second chakra, the sacral chakra, it can look like rigidity in our movement, frigidity connecting with others. We might struggle with expression or creativity, and we'll most certainly struggle with change. We'll struggle with our ability to go with the flow, with the tide of life. We bring this into balance, and there's more willingness for change. And I think certainly as we come out of the other side of the changes that we're making because of the virus at the moment, we really are going to need willingness for change, hopefully, and this is maybe a positive thing that can come out of all of this. Hopefully there will be change on the other side of this. You can stay with your breath, with your relaxation for as long as you like, as long as you need to. For now, I'll leave you here with your breath. Find some quiet space. And certainly take as long as you need. Namaste.